Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 16 based on novel. So let's start. With the knot printed in Xiao Yang's hand, the energy ripples like water waves spread around Xiao Yang's hands, which is very beautiful. But when the beautiful ripples like dark flowers spread, the eyes of the three-hall lord suddenly tightened to the size of the tip of a needle. The face under the mask suddenly changed again, and the whole person suddenly became frightened. Xiao Yang's face was slightly white at the moment, but the action in his hand did not stop at all, and even accelerated more and more. While pinching and printing the formula in his hand, Xiao Yang opened his mouth and smiled coldly at the third hall lord. Since you know all about my abilities, you must know what I'm doing at the moment. Hearing the speech, the third hall lord swallowed a mouthful of spitting stuck in his throat. I don't know whether it was because of fear or for other reasons. After a long pause, the third hall lord said in a trembling and dry voice, This is yours. Xiao Yang's face was pale and his body standing on the void shook slightly, but he still strongly supported the fire circle in his hand and aimed it at the three-hall lord. Then his heart moved and his palm pushed forward fiercely. The dark light spot in the center of the circle of fire lit up slightly after it aimed at the three-hall lord. Immediately, there was a bang, and 100 feet thick black light column rushed towards the three-hall lord. As soon as the lord of the three halls saw the black light column, his face immediately became dignified. His arms covered with armor were quickly lifted up and crossed in front of him. At the same time, the fighting spirit in the body poured out wildly and turned into a row of black energy shields hundreds of feet long in front of the three-hall lord. Among them, the defense of each energy shield is enough to block the full blow of a 3-star semi-emperor. There are hundreds of energy shields here. It can be seen that the three-hall lord has exhausted his strongest life-saving shield in order to block Xiao Yang's attack. Boom! The huge and harsh noise expanded the sky, so that the whole sky sent out bursts of vibrato, and there were some cracks in the space. The fierce energy storm swept the world. On the ground, the huge pit was torn open again by this powerful and unmatched energy, forming an abyss and canyon with a width of 100 feet. Above the sky with some clouds still remained disappeared at the moment of being blasted by the fierce storm. Until the far edge of the sky, we can see a circular arc surrounded by clouds. The lacquered black energy shield has just taken shape, and Xiao Yang's cycle of Buddha anger has just arrived. As soon as the two touched, the painted black energy shield was destroyed by Xiao Yang's Buddha anger cycle. It was only 10 feet away from the third hall lord that the forward speed gradually slowed down. The lacquered black energy shield emits a lacquered black energy mist, blocking the progress of the black light column. Seeing this, Xiao Yang frowned slightly, then his eyes coagulated, and the black light column became thick again. Xiao Yang raised his left hand and held the wrist of his right hand. Then he clenched his teeth, squeezed his eyebrows tightly together, and pushed the fire ring forward with both hands. Boom! Under Xiao Yang's push, finally, the painted black energy light column broke through several energy shields and rushed forward into a distance of several feet. After the same dark energy shield burst, it was somehow absorbed by the dark energy light column and integrated into the energy light column, which made the energy light column more solid and powerful in the dark. The third hall lord, also pushed by Xiao Yang, slowly stabilized his body after stepping back 100 feet in vain. The lord of the three halls saw that his energy shields burst one by one, and his eyes were full of dignified color. Moreover, in the black light column, the three-hall lord also felt a little decomposition. The lord of the three halls can clearly perceive that these energy shields protecting himself are being decomposed by the black energy light column. Before long, these energy shields, which were hard to condense by swallowing 6 talents, will be broken one by Xiao Yang. The lord of the three halls looked at the energy shield that was still struggling to support, and at his black armor. His face was dignified. After a long time, the third hall lord seemed to have made a great determination. His eyes suddenly coagulated and the knot in his hand changed again. The energy shield, which was supporting hard, also burst into pieces after a bang, turned into black light spots all over the sky, and then returned to the body of the three-hall lord. Boom! The black energy returned to his body, and the whole breath of the three-hall lord became strong and powerful in an instant. Looking at the black painted energy light column that was about to bombard the body, the printing formula in the hands of the three-hall lord changed rapidly. Then at the moment when the black light column came, he gave a violent drink in his mouth and said, Ghost palm. At the same time, the right palm of the three-hall lord was also hit hard, facing the black energy light column. Silence, dead silence. The moment the palm of the Lord of the Three Halls touched the black light column, the whole heaven and earth suddenly became silent. For this, Xiao Yan was not surprised in the hearts of the Three Hall Masters. All material fury originates from silence, and now, between the seemingly silent palm and the black light column, there is actually a life and death struggle. The content of the competition is the energy supply of both sides. However, Xiao Yang doesn't have to worry about this. The reincarnation of Buddha's anger has been used, and the energy must be sufficient. What to compete is actually the endurance of Xiao Yang and the Three Hall Masters. This state will not last long, nor will it last too long. For the power of fighting skills, the winner of this silent battle will only be Xiao Yang. Boom! A huge noise broke out, and the fierce energy ripples swept the whole world. Xiao Yang and the Three Hall Lord were also blown away by this terrible energy storm. Boom! There was another roar. Xiao Yang's body was severely hit into the ground. When it fell, the strength brought by it also raised everything within 100 feet to the ground. Pooh! Xiao Yang vomited a mouthful of blood. His originally pale face also became ruddy, but at the moment, Xiao Yang's condition can't be worse. Several muscles and bones were broken, and he was seriously injured because of the energy storm. At the moment, Xiao Yang is very weak. Looking at the Three Hall Lord, the Three Hall Lord at the moment is completely broken. There are big beaches of blood on his chest, but his condition is obviously better than Xiao Yang. Even now, part of the black armor of the Three Hall Lord is still intact. It can be seen how amazing the armor's defense is. The Lord of the Three Halls stood up with difficulty, spread his palm, and a jade bottle appeared in his palm. After taking the pill, the Lord of the Three Halls ignored his injury and walked hard in the direction of Xiao Yang. When the Third Hall Lord came 10 feet in front of Xiao Yang, the body of the Third Hall Lord suddenly softened, so he sat down on the ground and ignored Xiao Yang. Gasping for breath, the Lord of the Three Halls took back his legs and feet, sat on the ground and began to refine the power of the pill in his body. Xiao Yang was lying in the ruins. He looked up hard, clenched his teeth and squinted at the Three Hall Lord who was only 10 feet away from him. Then he closed his eyes and softened his body. He lay down and gasped, trying to make his body more comfortable. Xiao Yang looked inside, and then he couldn't help frowning. At the moment, Xiao Yang's body was seriously damaged by meridians, which was basically broken inch by inch. The fighting spirit in his body also disappeared. In the center of the cyclone, the huge space also seemed very empty at the moment. He couldn't help but feel the sharp pain coming from his body. He thought in his heart. A pill the size of a longan appeared in Xiao Yang's bloody palm. Jiupin Fufu pill has excellent curative effect on internal injury, and the drug property is also extremely mild. It is an excellent pill for treating internal injury. He forcibly reversed his body and swallowed the pill with the blood gushing from his mouth. Xiao Yang gasped again and narrowed his eyes. A few hours later, the body of the Three Hall Lord sitting on the ground slowly stood up. His eyes full of resentment looked at Xiao Yang who was still lying in the ruins with his eyes slightly closed. Walking to Xiao Yang's body, the Third Hall Lord breathed hard again and took a few mouthfuls of air with a little bloody smell. Then his right hand slowly lifted up. In this seriously injured state, the action of the Three Hall Lord also seemed extremely laborious, but he still bent his right hand into a claw, aimed at Xiao Yang's chest and stabbed it with one claw. Feeling the dangerous smell that he was getting closer there, Xiao Yang's slightly closed eyes also opened suddenly. Immediately, the muscles of the whole body suddenly tightened and kicked the chest of the Three Hall Lord with one foot. Puff! The Lord of the Third Hall was kicked by Xiao Yang. He was kicked to the ground directly. He also vomited a mouthful of blood against his mouth. Then he fell out of the field, gasped and couldn't move. But Xiao Yang was as if his chest was full of strength. His body suddenly straightened up and turned over from the ground. But from Xiao Yang's dim eyes, we can see that Xiao Yang at the moment is not as strong as he looks. Xiao Yang clenched his fists, tensed his muscles, rolled his throat, swallowed a mouthful of anti-blood, and bit the tip of his tongue, which was rotten. The crack at the tip of the tongue touched the nerves of the whole body, and Xiao Yang's eyes also showed a slight glimmer. Without taking care of the Three Hall Masters lying on the ground, Xiao Yang moved and ran out of the huge ruins. Then he stepped on the void with one foot. As soon as his body shook, he rushed to the distance, leaving drops of bright red blood only where he passed. Bang! In a mountain forest, a figure with ragged clothes and blood fell from the sky and fell to the ground. After rolling for several times, it stopped moving. If it weren't for the breath in his nose, I'm afraid anyone would think it was a dead man. After a long time, in a burst of coughing, Xiao Yang woke up slowly, glanced around and looked at everything around him. Hihi, you're a good boy. Although you're seriously injured, you can barely make money if you can beat that ghost like this. Suddenly, an old voice came from the bottom of Xiao Yang's heart, which almost surprised Xiao Yang, and his loose muscles tightened again. After hearing who it was, Xiao Yang was relieved. As soon as his tight body was loose, Xiao Yang immediately felt that his muscles were very sore. There were bursts of painful feelings in his body. Xiao Yang's face was distorted, which made his face full of blood more terrible. Xiao Yang breathed heavily and slowly suppressed the heart-piercing pain from his body. He roared at Jiu in his heart. Old man, can you say a word next time you talk? You'll kill people. Jiu smiled awkwardly when she heard the speech, and didn't speak again. Xiao Yang also scolded a few times in his heart, and then ignored it. His eyes closed slightly and concentrated on refining the pill in his body. In the previous period with the Three-Hall Lord, Xiao Yang also refined the pill in his body to treat the injury, but there was still too little time, so Xiao Yang did not completely refine the medicine. In addition, Xiao Yang's injury, which has not improved yet, has become more and more serious. If Xiao Yang doesn't take advantage of this time to heal his injury, I'm afraid he will really leave some sequelae. A few hours later, Xiao Yang's slightly closed eyes slowly opened, slightly moved his body, but found that he still felt very painful. He sighed secretly in his heart, and his mind moved. Another Jopine recovery pill appeared in Xiao Yang's palm. Holding on and taking the pill again, Xiao Yang closed his eyes again and refined it with peace of mind. At the same time, in the place where Xiao Yang fought with the Three-Hall Masters and others, an old man in green clothes was slowly coming from the distant sky. At the moment, this mountain forest has already turned into ruins. When you look high, you can only see a wide giant pit, just like it was hit by an asteroid. The Three-Hall Lord and the old devil had already disappeared. At the moment, an old man in green is looking at everything here with a gloomy face. After a long time, the old man sighed deeply and said to heaven, Taoist friend Xiao Yang, I'm Yuanqing. I'm late. If you have a spirit in heaven, please believe me. I'll use my strength for the rest of my life to avenge you until I die. Or I'll explain to the family behind you. As soon as these words came out, Xiao Yang, who was refining pills in the jungle, suddenly sneezed, shaking his whole body with great pain. After a while, Xiao Yang bared his teeth and said, What the hell is cursing me to die? When I'm well, I'll come to comfort you. Atilda. At the same time, on the horizon, suddenly thunderclouds occupied the sky, and Tianwei bursts, while Yuanqing looked up to the sky, ignored it, and waited wholeheartedly for the oath of Tianlei. But I don't know why, before the thunderclouds just entrenched can be blasted down, they quietly disperse again. The Yuanqing is a fog. Dry blinked a few times and flew in one direction. Above the sky, dark clouds covered the whole world, making the originally bright day like night. Over the green forest, strong winds surged, and a huge wind rolled soil to expand the world. Between heaven and earth, a stream of energy air continuously separated from the air, and then was involved in the vortex. In a flash, it disappeared. In the endless green mountains and forests, a young man in white was sitting on a bluestone with his legs bent. The man's eyes are slightly closed, his face looks a little white, and his hands are making cultivation knots. He is absorbing the energy of heaven and earth for his own cultivation. The slightly mottled energy of heaven and earth is falling from the huge vortex above his head, converging into a strong energy column, pouring into his body from Baihui acupoint on the man's head, and then being refined and absorbed by the man. This repeated situation lasted for several hours. After the energy vortex above the man's head slowly dissipated, the man withdrew from the cultivation state. Xiao Yang's eyes slowly opened, and a gorgeous light flashed from the depths of his eyes. Then, the air in front of Xiao Yang twisted and brought up a tiny black thread. Hiss tilde. In a towering ancient tree several feet away from Xiao Yang, it suddenly made a hissing sound, and then it turned into a piece of fine powder, which fell down in succession. A burst of inexplicable yin wind blew and dissipated. Call dash. Xiao Yang deeply breathed out the turbid air that had been held in his chest. His eyes narrowed again, raised his head and inhaled the pure air. Feeling the bursts of comfort coming out of the whole body, Xiao Yang's mouth was slightly aroused. After half a month's recovery, the injury in the body is finally almost good. Hihi, your physical strength is beyond my expectation. If you are an ordinary person with such a serious injury, I'm afraid it will take a few months anyway. Tut tut. And the dragon phoenix blood in your body, tut tut. But they are all wonderful things. When Xiao Yang heard the speech, he smiled again and didn't answer. After such a long time, Xiao Yang has been used to the haunted state of Guyo, so he didn't feel much surprised. After a pause, Xiao Yang smiled, his eyes suddenly became calm, and slowly said, "Yes, I didn't expect that the injury recovered so quickly this time, and this, is also thanks to the man in black." At the end of the voice, Xiao Yang's original plain tone suddenly became cold, which made the temperature of Xiao Yang's whole body space suddenly turn cold at the moment. He shook his head and threw his mind out of his body. Xiao Yang straightened up and twisted left and right. Then he was shocked. The blue stone Xiao Yang sat down burst into a pair of lime and scattered. But Xiao Yang is still sitting in place, never moving a penny. Look carefully, Xiao Yang is sitting in the air. Where does he need bluestone to pave the way? After a short rest, the power of Xiao Yang's soul spread, and then his heart moved. He only heard the sound of the leaves in the jungle. Then a hare flew into the air in front of Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang smiled and said faintly, "Tonight, I can only eat you. I wish you a good baby in your next life." Then, the power of Xiao Yang's soul fluctuated again. Soon after, a smell of meat floated out of the jungle. Next day, Xiao Yang's eyelids trembled slightly during cultivation, slowly opened his eyes, turned the palm of his right hand, and a pill the size of a longan appeared in the palm of Xiao Yang's right hand. Tai Hui Blood Pill, Jopine Golden Pill, the fastest and most effective pill among Jopine pills. When the serious injury is healing quickly, it can speed up the recovery of the injury. It usually takes 1 month. After using Tai Hui Blood Pill, half a month is enough. In this way, we can see the efficacy of Tai Hui Blood Pill. But the only drawback is that this time, the medicine of blood pill was too strong to be used when he was seriously injured, which made Xiao Yang not care much at the beginning, but refined a few. At the moment, Xiao Yang was very happy. Although he didn't refine too much, these are enough for his current situation. If not, when the man in black comes after him, he will still be seriously injured. It will be too late to regret. After taking the pill, Xiao Yang's eyes closed slightly again and refined with meditation. The pill melted at the entrance, and suddenly turned into a hot but not very fierce energy flow wave, which rushed into Xiao Yang's body. In Xiao Yang's body, a red energy wave shuttled between meridians and organs. Where he passed, there was a red, and there was a tingling feeling in the red. Coupled with the burning heat, everything in Xiao Yang's body felt a little swollen. Outside, Xiao Yang's face turned red, the veins on his forehead wriggled, and a tiny bead of sweat spilled from his forehead and slid down his cheeks. Look at Xiao Yang's body. At the center of the cyclone, a red bead is emitting bursts of hot energy fluctuations. Waves of red air swept through Xiao Yang's body and spread to Xiao Yang's whole body. When the fire-red energy came into contact with the muscles and organs in Xiao Yang's body, it was directly immersed in it. At the same time, it was also transmitted to Xiao Yang's feeling of swelling and pain, which made Xiao Yang very uncomfortable. Such a repeated state lasted for 6 hours, and Xiao Yang was tortured by the power of the pill. He was numb. All the clothes on his body were soaked with sweat and close to Xiao Yang's body. Finally, the power of Tai Hui Blood Pill was completely refined by Xiao Yang, immersed in all organs and meridians in Xiao Yang's body, and repaired the injury in Xiao Yang's body for a long time. At the moment when the pill was refined, Xiao Yang was soft all over, fell back, lay flat on the grass, and soon fell asleep. Half a month later, the wind howled between heaven and earth. It was clear that the hot sun was in the sky, but people didn't feel the warmth at all. In the jungle, on an open space, Xiao Yang, dressed in white, sat on the ground, made a practice seal with his hands, and the energy of heaven and earth involuntarily gathered towards Xiao Yang, which was refined and absorbed by Xiao Yang. After an hour, Xiao Yang withdrew from the cultivation state and felt the fighting spirit filled in his body. Xiao Yang smiled slightly. So far, the injuries suffered by Xiao Yang in the war with the 3 Hall Masters can be regarded as complete. The physical injury healed, but the pain in Xiao Yang's heart never decreased. His injury was healed, but the injury suffered by the blow blocked by Shen Chongkai was still there. Xiao Yang's palm turned over, and a huge black ruler appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. It was the Shen Heavy Ruler. It's just a pity that after the fist and palm of the 3 Hall Lord, the Shen Heavy Ruler has been replaced by cracks. At first glance, it seems that as long as you break it gently with your hand, it will fall apart in an instant. Xiao Yang held the giant ruler from under the giant ruler with one hand, and stroked it gently on the surface of the giant ruler with the other hand. Xiao Yang can naturally use his own strength to make Shen Chongkai float in the air, but Shen Chongkai is now on the verge of collapse. In addition, Xiao Yang's feelings for this Shen Chongkai and Yarolaro, even if he has strength, How can he rest assured to let it float in the air? Xiao Yang's hand stroked the tiny cracks on the Shenchong ruler, and his heart also missed the days when he carried the Shenchong ruler on his back and wandered with Yarrow Lowy on the mainland. Xiao Yang's face was indifferent, the corners of his mouth were slightly hooked, and a smile appeared. Seeing this, the bone in his body nodded secretly. The sun's heart is so calm. Even such a great hatred can be so calm. It's unusual. The enemy who shows everything on his face is not terrible. The terrible thing is the enemy who will smile at you after losing. Because you often don't know how terrible the abyss hell exists under that smile. After a long time, Xiao Yang's men made a slight movement, and the light in their hands flashed. Xian Chong Kai was put into the ring by Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's body moved. At the next moment, a figure in white suddenly appeared on a mountain top about hundreds of miles away. Xiao Yang stood on the top of the mountain and stood with his hands down. The power of his soul rushed out from the center of Xiao Yang's eyebrows and spread in all directions. A moment later, Xiao Yang frowned slightly, and then his body flashed again, flying away towards the depths of the mountain forest. A quarter of an hour later, Xiao Yang's body gave a slight meal, and the power of his soul spread out again, bringing everything within thousands of miles into his eyes. 9-level Warcraft, 7 heads, 8-level Warcraft, 16 heads, 7-level Warcraft, 49 heads, 6 levels hundreds, and the rest are more. Xiao Yang's exploration, those Warcraft were also suppressed by the sudden strong breath. They all gave in and lay on the ground, even afraid to make a sound. Xiao Yang's face was indifferent, the cold light in his eyes flashed, and then his palm raised with a dull bang. In Xiao Yang's palm, a gorgeous flame rose. At the moment of the rising fire, the world suddenly became dry. Even taking a breath of air, I felt the dry pain in my throat. Xiao Yang's mind moved, and the strange fire in his hand spread a strange wave. The next moment, without waiting for the reaction of those Warcraft, it turned into nothingness, leaving only a trace of pure blood and magic cores of different colors. Xiao Yang's mind turned. The next moment, above the sky, was replaced by the magic core. The strange fire in Xiao Yang's hand flew out, then spread out and wrapped all the magic cores. In the sound of hissing, the magic core was refined by different fire, leaving only drops of pure energy. A moment later, Xiao Yang's palm turned over again, and the Xian heavy ruler appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. In the space in front of Xiao Yang, a large group of gorgeous energy droplets are floating quietly. Xiao Yang pushed his palm forward and pushed the Xian heavy ruler into the liquid drop. Then, the knot in Xiao Yang's hand changed. The next moment, in front of Xiao Yang, a large group of strange fire appeared out of thin air and wrapped towards the droplet. Different fire completely wrapped the droplets. Under the continuous refining of different fire, those droplets were also merging with Shenchong ruler at an extremely slow speed to repair the ruler body of Shenchong ruler. That was. His tilde it seems to have been heard. Is that? Oh, Shenchong ruler? It's amazing that Shenchong ruler appears. Tut tut. When Xiao Yang was repairing the mysterious ruler, on a towering ancient tree only 1,000 feet away from Xiao Yang, a young man in a blue robe was looking at Xiao Yang curiously. It seems that something happened to the Xian heavy ruler. Do you want to repair the Xian heavy ruler with the blood of all animals and this pure energy? Haha, it's still too naive. Xian Chong Kai, how could you repair it so easily? In this case, hehe, that thing depends on you, hey. The man looked at Xiao Yang's action and murmured in a low voice. After dozens of hours, the large energy droplets finally completely immersed in the Shenchong ruler, but Xiao Yang was not happy at all. Because what was supposed to be repaired is the same, but now nothing has happened, not even a little sign of repair. Xiao Yang frowned and sighed. After a long time, Xiao Yang said faintly, "Friends over there, after watching it for so long, should they come out and meet?" This video will end here.